Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neal, Keith Robinson, Jim Norton, Colin Quinn, myself. When I say we would sit at this table, for 4 to 5 hours, and it would be nothing but beautiful trashings to one another.
This is something that you're doing to, this is going to raise money for Patrice O'Neal, one of the great, funniest stand-ups ever.
Funniest comic I ever saw. Unfortunately, passed away. I'm going to try to get through this, and sorry.
That's all right. You're going to, by doing this, you're going to raise
money for his mom.
Money for his mom.
And his wife.
And this is huge. This is huge.
God. I just want to say we missed the hell out of Patrice, man. He made everyone in this room better, and it kills us to this day. I just want to tell you personally.
Yeah.
Thank
on the
you.
radio.
I really appreciate
I miss the
that.
days of him just walking down that long hall.
Yeah.
Because you had to be on your game, and he was going to fucking bring it every
And you also knew that
time.
it was like, all right, the next 2 hours of radio. I can become a fan now.
Absolutely.
Right.
You could sit back and just watch. It was amazing watching him do radio. Just absolutely amazing.
I miss talking and hearing silence from my right and then looking over and just seeing that look.
Right.
Well, people don't realize.
Scrunched up face look.
People don't realize like how many bad jokes you got away. Like he would be looking over, like everybody else would be laughing, and then you just felt him.
Right.
You felt his head turn, and then you make that face, and you just shrug your shoulder. I know it's not up to your level, but this is the talent I was
you
born
think
with.
you knocked one out of the park, and then he's just looking at you.
Sometimes he would do it just because you got a good laugh, and
Right.
and he saw you happy. Like look at him enjoying himself.
For a second.
Was that funny? Was that like
But he would let you know, man, when you were being funny. When you got a laugh out of Patrice,
Oh,
it
if
was
you ever made him
an
laugh, it was the
amazing
greatest
feeling.
thing ever.
Yeah.
So
It's like you got called up to the majors.
absolutely.
We went up to Montreal in that truck, and we had to go through customs.
Right.
So you have to pull over and get out of your truck and go into a building, and it's me, and I still don't remember who the other comics were, but we were all white. Patrice was the only black guy. And they take all our passports and stuff, and then they go, the lady's like, no, one of you has a record or something. And of course, all four of us look at Patrice, and he's like, what you MF is looking at? And the lady behind the counter is trying not to laugh, you know? And I don't know what, to this day, I don't know what was in his whatever.
And just to prove that stereotypes aren't true at all, the other comic was me, and I was the one with the record. But,
so we get back, I'm busting his chops because I'm really the headliner, because when you host the Nasty Show, your name is on the marquee.
Right.
You're the one that's selling tickets.
Schimmel hosted it when I did it.
And Bobby Slayton was the mayor of it.
Right.
But because Patrice is arguing with me because he goes on last every night.
Yeah.
And on the way up he's saying, man, well, if that's the way you see it, man, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what do you mean the way I see it? That's how it is, man. Don't tell me I'm the headliner. And we get up there and I, do my shtick up front. And then he goes on last after a killer show and just
destroys.
Just takes it to a different level,
Geraldo, Colin Quinn, Nick DiPaolo, Jim Norton, Rich Voss, Patrice O'Neal, Keith Robinson, Bobby Kelly. It was insane. And if you came down there and you wore the wrong shirt, it was fucking over. So the funniest guys I ever met. I ever met. They were unreal. And Patrice was the king. Like, you walked in, if he wasn't there, you were relieved. And there were nights when you were on a roll and, you were killing someone at the table, and then he starts walking in, like your heart would sink. Like, oh, fuck, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now it's the real deal. Dad's home. Eddie Iff said the funniest thing one time. He goes, dude, sometimes, like, I'll come walking into the cellar. And he goes, he would, just as he walked in, Patrice would be killing at the table, and then just see Eddie come in and be like, and just start yelling over at him. And Eddie said that I would literally think, fuck, he saw me. And then that's when the whole thing kind of took off, and tough crowd came out of that.
How about you, Kev? You know what? If I wanted anyone to be president, I would want it to be Shaq. Because Shaq can do whatever the hell he wants. Shaq can call the UN right now and tell them that he wants to bomb France. They're going to say, but why, Shaq? They didn't do anything. I don't know. I don't like the basketball team. I think the basketball team stinks. I want to drop a bomb on them. I want to dunk it. I want to do it. Well, Shaq, if that's what you want to do, I want to do it.
That Shaq ate his balls. He called me with that Shaq. And you think this Shaq is going to be good? Yeah,
how do you try to make my
There's a comedian that you remind me of,
Do you know who I'm speaking of?
No.
He was my favorite comedian. He passed away a couple years ago.
Patrice O'Neal?
Patrice O'Neal. The reason I loved Patrice was he had his own truth, and he was going to tell you, and he wasn't going to take any prisoners. And that's a giant void to fill, Patrice O'Neal, because I felt he was the funniest guy in the world when he passed away.
But, yeah, our great friend Patrice O'Neal passed away, man, and we're all absolutely fucking devastated. And I'm going to try not to get emotional here, but he has a DVD called Elephant in the Room. Makes a great Christmas gift, and it would really help out his mom. And he also has a new CD out on iTunes called Mr. P. And if you guys could do me a huge favor, if you want to repay me for the podcast on any level, could you please buy that man's work? Because I got to tell you, man, that guy, no joke, is the funniest fucking dude I ever met in my life, and it's not even close. It's not even close, and you can't even... That dude was so funny, like, even his stand-up work only just captures, like, a sliver of how fucking funny that guy was. That guy, I'm telling you, like, him walking into a deli to buy a newspaper was funnier than most comedians I ever met, and it's just fucking awful. I'm still in shock that he's not here anymore, and I don't know. When the time's right, I'll be telling some of his stories, because I'm telling you, I can tell you this: there's not going to be another one, and that's the thing that probably hurts the most, is that there's no fucking way I'm ever going to meet someone like that again in my life. All right, okay, no crying on the podcast. Here we go, plowing ahead. So if you guys could fucking do that for me, I would really appreciate it. Yeah, all right. So here we go. Push it down, Bill. Push it down.
Do you ever worry that maybe you're putting out this energy and you're manifesting something, like some sort of an attack on you, because you're constantly dwelling on it, and you always have this gun? And Patrice goes, Joe believe in magic. Joe believe in conjuring up the world. Hey, man, I'm positive energy. Just starts laughing. See, he's magic. Joe's magic.
Shit on me. Most of my friends that are comics, most are at best okay, and usually awkward or bad at talking to women.
Yeah.
A lot of comics
Most comics are,
Yeah. That's usually like one
Guys that came up weren't.
No?
No. Patrice.
He knows
Patrice
that.
was ridiculous. Patrice could actually insult them all the way into the bedroom.
That's so
Wow.
And they
crazy.
would just be walking in going, I know, you're right. You're right.
But those are the broken girls, and broken girls you can always manipulate.
Sure.
At
Listen,
any
don't
level, right?
No, let me tell you, it's still work.
Yeah.
It's just something that women won't understand, because you guys don't have to convince people to have sex with you. It's one of the
No.
great things.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Bobby Kelly back in the day, phenomenal.
At talking to chicks?
Phenomenal.
Really?
Phenomenal. No, there were legends in New York. I was not part of that crew.
You were not in the legend crew?
No, dude, come on. I look like Ron Howard. It was like I just always had to work. But there was. I don't want to, like, you know.
But Patrice, I had heard about. I mean, even a few years ago, about his. I knew he was gifted. Obviously, I mean, hear his stand up on shows, but I heard stories about him with women, about how
No, it was
amazing.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. It made no sense, and he was so good at making them uncomfortable that they ignored all of his imperfections that were just right in front of their face. Like one time, we were sitting. I know I've told this. I think I told this one on Opie and Anthony. We were sitting down the cellar. This was one of his classics, and there was three women. And they were excited, and it was a loud bar, and they were talking. So women, when they talk loud, they go,
yeah.
And he just yelled over at one. He's like, "Ma'am, miss, ma'am." And she finally looks over. She's gorgeous. And she's like, "What?" And he goes, "Your voice." She goes, "Is it loud?" And he goes, "It's piercing." and we just started laughing at her. And it took her a second to regroup. And I don't know what happened. 5 minutes later, all three of them, gorgeous, are standing around Patrice, and he has them auditioning to see who has the best phone sex voice. And they're doing it.
Unreal.
Because he had them all convinced that despite how they looked, their voices were so annoying that most guys actually secretly didn't like them, wanted them to shut up, and didn't want to hear their opinions.
Yeah.
And they bought into that.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, they're trying to prove to him that they can be sexy. And they were like, you know, they were all 9s.
Yeah.
Wow. Like a 9 in New York, too.
Yeah. Super smoking.
Yeah. So that was
incredible.
I saw one time walked up to a girl and she was gorgeous and she had this little scar on her forehead and he comes walking up with his big stupid finger. She was sitting down and he goes, "I like that," and he pointed right at her scar and she was like mortified. And that's just how he would. You just started off balance with him, and then he just kept pushing your shoulder verbally every time you would start to regain your footing. He would find something else, and he would just trash you for an hour.
And then you loved him.
Yeah, no. Some nights you hated him. You literally wanted to kill him. Like he would make you so many, he would start laughing at you. It was brutal. I beat him once in 20 years of knowing him.
At the game,
one time, which is
basically?
inevitable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
At least once you're going to win.
Yeah.
I just got him. We were on the phone. It was a 3-way call. Me, him, and Bobby. And I was using all of his techniques, which made him mad.
Yeah.
And then he was off his game. He didn't talk to me for like 3 days. He was so upset. But it was literally like, you know, if when they drag some idiot out of the stands and he hits a half-court shot.
Sure,
you drag enough idiots out there, eventually someone's going to hit it.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened. But other than that, I think, so I was basically 1 in 17,000
conversations with him.
No, he pounded. Yeah, we used to gang up on him.
And he could still.
We gang up on him, and you'd get him for a little bit. It's just like, I can't. It's like one of those video games you just can't defeat unless you go online and you get the cheats. The cheats where we would gang up on, try to gang up on him. And he would still effortlessly, and then you'd hope you'd have solidarity with the person that you ganged up on, and then he'd get you with something, and then your friend just had to start laughing at you, and then you were done. Then you were done. And then they wanted Patrice to stop trashing them, so then they would pile on with Patrice, and then it was brutal. So then you'd have to try to get it off you onto somebody else. And you just,
That's so awful.
It's
so awful. It sounds terrible.
It made us better. We used to go downstairs at the cellar, and you'd be upstairs, and you'd have some new bit, and somebody would hate your joke. Like Keith would hate it, or Patrice would hate it. It just as long as one person hated it, they would bring it up and start saying how awful a joke it was, and then everybody would pile on, and then you have to be like, "Fuck you, I'm still doing the joke," and then you go downstairs to do the joke, and everyone would be staring at you during your set, dude, and it was brutal. Wow. And even if you committed and the joke got a laugh, Patrice had a laugh that was so loud he could shut the crowd up.
Yeah.
And he knew when to laugh. He just knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was a nightmare.
Yeah.
He was a nightmare. I loved him to death, but when he was on you, it was a fucking nightmare. And it didn't end when you went on stage.
Right.
It
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, that's why we look at.
Yo, let's talk about a real issue at hand. Trash piling up, it's time to take a stand. From plastic bottles to styrofoam cups, our planet's drowning, it's time to wake up. Garbage trucks roll, streets lined with waste, but where does it go? It's not a race to the landfill, a mountain of despair. But we can change course, show that we care. Trash talk, it's more than just words. It's about actions, the change we deserve. Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's the plan for a cleaner, greener earth. Let's take a stand. Trash talk, it's more than just words. It's about actions, the change we deserve. Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's the plan for a cleaner, greener earth. Let's take a stand. Single-use plastics, they gotta go. From straws to bags, it's time to say no. Bring your own cup, your own tote bag. Small steps add up, let's not lag. Sorting all waste is not that tough. Recycling centers, that's where it's rough. Separate paper, glass, and cans. Give them a new life, that's the plan. Trash talk, it's more than just words. It's about actions, the change we deserve. Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's the plan for a cleaner, greener earth. Let's take a stand. But it's not just about the stuff we toss. It's about the mindset, there's no loss. Composting food waste, it's a win. Turning scraps to soil, let's begin. Educate the masses, from young to old. The future's at stake, let the story unfold. For the sake of our planet, our home sweet home. Let's clean up our acts, together we roam. Trash talk, it's more than just words. It's about actions, the change we deserve. Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's the plan for a cleaner, greener earth. Let's take a stand.
At all these fucking people now, like I can't even relate to them. Like this whole new thing. It's like nobody I mean, I feel like this old guy, like, hey, you know, we used to give each other shit.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't supportive, but it was supportive because you were.
No, you're helping each other out with that. Yeah, for sure.
Well,
that
it certainly made like somebody heckling you after that point of sitting there having Norton, Keith, Voss, and Patrice on your ass at the same time, and then Kevin Hart came along. If you had all 5 of them trashing you, like when you went on stage and somebody heckled you, it was hilarious.
Yeah, because you just dealt with fucking 5 of the
professionals.
Yeah, professionals. Yeah, yeah, that's so
professionals.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's what you're describing is so foreign to me in comedy.
There were comics who literally avoided going to the cellar
just because of that,
or they would just go downstairs and do their set and then they leave. They wouldn't go upstairs to the table.
Really?
Yeah, and the whole table came about, I think, because of Patrice. Because Patrice got kicked out of the club. So we loved him so much, we just would go where he was. So he would be like in front of the club. So we would all just go outside. And they didn't know how to deal. And I remember they were telling him he had to leave. And he was just like, oh, else what? He's like, you'll never, ever, ever, never play this club. He's like, I'm already kicked out of here, motherfucker. You know. So we were all just laughing. So then they
he got kicked out of the club? Though, like out of the cellar?
The cellar kicked him out.
Why?
I forget why.
Okay.
I forget why. He just for being Patrice,
okay,
right?
Yeah. Okay.